Welcome to Elementary Summer Reading for July 7th, 2026, Part 2. The theme is Unearth a Story. When I grow up, I want to be a dinosaur. Written by Mikayla Ruvalcaba, illustrated by Maria Burobkina. When I grow up, I want to be a dinosaur. I just haven't decided which one yet. There are too many to choose from. Maybe I will be a Tyrannosaurus Rex with long, sharp teeth and the most powerful bite that ever existed. Or possibly a Velociraptor. I could be a small, fierce, feathery hunter. A Triceratops would be fun too. I'd have a big frill on my neck and 3 large horns. Imagine being a huge Brachiosaurus with a long neck and tail. I'd leave deep footprints and make the ground shake when I walked. I could even be a Stegosaurus with a row of giant plates on my back and spikes on my tail for protection. But Dad says I can't be a dinosaur when I grow up. He says they all died a long, long, long time ago when a giant asteroid crashed into the Earth. Now all that there is left of the dinosaurs are the fossils they left behind. Maybe since I can't be a dinosaur, I can be a paleontologist and dig up their bones instead. Yeah, a paleontologist. When I grow up, I want to be a paleontologist and study dinosaur bones. Actually, paleontologists are interested in all fossils. I can study more than just dinosaurs. The KT boundary is a thin, dark line that can be seen in rock layers around the world. It is evidence of a catastrophic event about 65 million years ago. I can study other prehistoric reptiles that lived at the same time as the dinosaurs. I could learn about flying pterosaurs that dominated the skies, like Quetzalcoatlus, the largest flying animal ever. Flying reptiles are cousins of dinosaurs, but not actually dinosaurs. Differences in their hip and arm bones separate them from dinosaurs. Or I could study marine reptiles like Mosasaurus, which ruled the early oceans and had paddle-like flippers instead of arms and legs. Marine reptiles are not dinosaurs either. They did not live on land, and their limbs stretched out to the side instead of being underneath their bodies. When I am a paleontologist, I will determine the best spots to look for bones and go on fossil hunting expeditions all over the world. Hell Creek Formation, known for having tons of dinosaur fossils right up to dinosaur extinction. Sahara Desert, many fossils have been found of predatory dinosaurs, pterosaurs, and crocodile-like animals. Patagonia, known for the largest plant-eating dinosaurs and largest meat-eating dinosaurs discovered. Gobi Desert, known for dinosaur egg discoveries. Jehobiota, known for many feathered dinosaur discoveries. Lark Quarry, many dinosaur footprints found here. The best spots for finding dinosaur fossils have been exposed rocks from the right time in history, 250 to 65 million years ago. Most fossils are found in sedimentary rocks like shale, sandstone, or limestone. I will carefully uncover any bones I find and wrap them up safely to transport them back to my lab. How to protect bones for transport. 1. Carefully uncover the bones. 2. Mix wet plaster in a bucket. 3. Cover the bones with several layers of wet paper towel. 4. Put burlap and wet plaster and lay crisscross over the paper towel. 5. Wait a few hours for plaster to dry. Once they are in my lab, I will clean them up and put them together like a puzzle. Paleontologists can use different tools to see inside bones or to see them very close up. Looking at the bones very close up has allowed paleontologists to see what color skin or feathers some dinosaurs had. But I won't just be looking for bones. I could find impressions of feathers or skin. I would also be on the hunt for eggs, coprolites, and dinosaur footprints. I will look for clues and patterns to see if I can understand how the dinosaurs and their reptile relatives lived and died. Body fossils are the remains of an animal's body parts, like bones or shells. They tell us about how an animal looked. Trace fossils are marks left by an animal. Nests, footprints, and coprolites, fossilized poop, are trace fossils. They tell us how an animal acted. Finally, when I'm done preparing and studying my prehistoric discoveries, they will be displayed in museums for everyone to see. And who knows, maybe in my search for prehistoric fossils, I will find something no one has ever seen before. The geologic timescale in the age of dinosaurs. Paleontologists and other scientists use the geologic timescale to talk about the long history of the Earth. The past is broken into sections, usually based on what kinds of fossils are found in rocks from that time. Dinosaurs were alive during the Mesozoic era. Modern humans have only been around since the Pleistocene epoch. Dinosaur family tree. Paleontologists put together family trees like this one to show how dinosaurs and other animals are related. Dinosaurs were more closely related to the flying reptiles than to the marine reptiles that were alive at the same time. Dinosaurs are very closely related to modern-day birds. In fact, all birds are ancestors of one group of dinosaurs. How fossils are formed. An animal dies, and the body quickly gets covered with mud, sand, or volcanic ash. Usually the soft parts decompose, leaving only hard parts like bones and shells. More layers of sediment, mud, sand, or ash, cover the bones. All layers harden into rock. The bones slowly decay, creating tiny spaces inside. Minerals in the ground fill in those spaces to create a fossil. Wind and rain wear away the rock and expose the fossils. Paleontologists find the fossils and dig them up to study. The end. Okay, we have a dig and discover dinosaur excavation. We have instructions. We have a plaster dinosaur head. Looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. See, it's plaster, it's getting all over. And we have an excavation tool. And you want to pull out the instructions. It says to read them all before you begin, but you want to cover your surface, which we have a paper down. It says work on a solid level working surface, so my desk is solid and level. It says keep old clothes or paper towels close to your work area to wipe away dust and to clean utensils. So I have paper towels. And dispose of the plaster remains properly or in the trash. Do not pour powder down the sink or bathtub as it may clog the drain. And then we unwrap it, which I've already done. And we take our, they call this a dowel, this tool. And it says to just start chipping away at it. Tap and scrape your block. And it says once your teeth appear, be careful not to damage. So I'm digging into this. It's going to be really dusty. I'm going down in. Tap, tap, tap. Oop, I see teeth. You see them? Way down there. Be careful now. So I'm going to keep digging around them. There's something in there. I'm just going to keep digging and tapping out the plaster. Looks like I got a little bit of a tail there, maybe. Digging at the sides. Oh, there's something. Okay. I don't think I'd make a very good paleontologist. I'm too impatient. There we go. He's in there. You can see his little body there. I think it's supposed to be a Tyrannosaurus because that's what the picture is on the instructions. And when I'm done with this, I'm just going to wrap this paper up and throw it right in the garbage. I'm not even going to try to clean it up. And then I'm going to have to wash the dinosaur and my hands to get the remaining plaster off. Still digging them out. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video and get the rest of the dinosaur out because I don't want you to have to keep watching me. But you go ahead and keep digging yours out. Okay, it's almost out. I just got a little bit up. There it is. You can see the tail left behind. And this is what my dino looks like. It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up. And I'm going to wash my hands. They're covered in plaster. And I'm going to rinse off my little dino. You can take a brush and brush the excess plaster off or blow it like I am. And then we're going to go ahead and be done.